Alright, before we get to the spoilers, let's just get right to the point. This movie is amazing, it's spectacular, it's all the objectives, including avenging, somewhat, to some degree. This is the type of movie that sucks you in, it keeps you engaged, and by the time that the credits roll, you just feel tired. Which is probably not a good thing. It probably is a sign that I should probably sleep more. Probably. It is a very thematic film. We go through the story of Spider-Man, who is not Peter Parker, whoever that is. It tackles loneliness, it tackles control of things within you, like puberty, which is one of the things brought up during like an interview or something. But it's not just limited to Spider-Man himself here. There's links between different aspects. If you had any worries about it before going in, worries about certain aspects or whatever, I'm sure that they will probably... It is very likely that you will no longer have them by the end. In fact, we'll go into stuff that I wasn't sure of later on. Hey guys, it's Vanagon of the Van Cetera channel, and let's just get into the spoilers, the meat and potatoes of this. There was a mention of potatoes, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, of course, first thing we gotta talk about the worst kept secret ever. Like they tried for basically it feels like no reason, honestly. Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. Wow, what a surprise. Who would have thought? It's not like everybody was saying. So people were trying to be like, oh, what if it's Typhoid Mary? Like, huh? I'm not sure if they were serious or not. It's like, who's redheaded? Mary Jane. No, they wouldn't do something crazy like that. Of course not. Michelle Jones is the MJ. Another thing is, Rachel Grey. Not the most out there thing, but that has a time travel element to it, does it not? That would just be too much. Though even I, faltered for a bit there, but Jean Grey was a primary, truly. Let's now get into the things that I wasn't so sure of. Number one being introducing an X-Men in a Spider-Man movie. We don't have the X-Men yet. So it's certainly an interesting place to start, especially with somebody that isn't really tied to Spider-Man, unlike someone like Kitty Pryde or Iceman or Firestar even, in the case of the show. And also I just feel like mutants have had such an unceremonious introduction into the MCU. They're just kind of there, I guess. There's people that are mutants. They'll have their time. They'll have their time after Secret Wars and everything ends. So, misgivings just push right to the side because Jean just naturally fits in. Her telepathic powers are extremely integral to the entirety of the film and not just to antagonize Spider-Man. She learns and threatens the closely guarded, as in only to himself, secret of Peter being Spider-Man. And with that knowledge of himself and the friends that he left behind, she uses that knowledge to rile him up and get him to back down, which the former being not the most ideal at the time, considering that he is losing control of himself. His powers are becoming more arachnid, and it makes him enter a state of aggression, to the point that he does something that he deeply regrets. Spider-Man hurting somebody that is not a bad guy. Almost maybe even killing a bad guy. Pretty much the antithesis of what he would ever want to be. And her learning all this and messing with his former life, I guess, acts as a domino that falls and unravels the secret that he has been keeping in hopes of helping them live normal lives and not be in danger. Ironically, because she finds out about that, it puts them in danger. And let's go to my second skepticism here. Mary Jane and Ned finding out. Like, there was a real possibility that something like that would happen because they are in the film. And well, if Brand New Day came out a lot sooner after No Way Home, it probably would have not been as great. With the time skip, things have settled. The lives have diverged a lot and he's been just alone by himself for so long. So it does have a great effect. And it also works best for one of the key themes of the film, which is loneliness and how it's best not to choose it, to voluntarily be lonely. And you know what? It also kind of feels like MCU Doctor Strange just absolutely dog walks his comic book version. Because, well, his one spell is super effective. Like, in the comic books, him just revealing his face to people, I mean, it's a bit inconsistent. At least in the case of the Fantastic Four, it made them immediately remember who he was, that they knew each other and everything. But that didn't happen, at least for Mary Jane anyway. And keep in mind, like, in the comics, Doctor Strange couldn't do all of that alone. He had the help of Extremis Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic. It's just them two, isn't it? Though, yeah, at the same time, within the movie, muscle memory for a handshake was something that was enough for Ned to remember everything. I mean, it kind of makes you wonder if she does remember now. And now number 3. What is this? Punisher and Spider-Man's relationship. He's not the biggest Punisher fan in the comics because, well, he's a killer. An obsessed one at that. Though he is willing to work with him as long as he doesn't kill anybody. And, well, the film does kind of handle it in that way. He takes him out if he's a danger to people. Though things do deviate because there's a strong sense of camaraderie between them and even a friendship. I ended up okay with it, actually. And now the last one. Organic webbing. Now, I am a strong advocate. I am a strong defender of mechanical webs. Of web shooters, I should say. It's synthetic webs. But you know what? It fits with his body changing in ways that he can't imagine or control, and he is at least grossed out by it, so that's... Is this a loss? Is this a win? It's kind of a loss because it furthers the organic webbing agenda. Oh well. And now let's tackle a general skepticism that people had, and that is, too many villains, too many characters appearing. The villains were mostly just a montage. They're mostly just in a montage. Scorpion and the Hand were more prevalent, but they were just pawns. It's really just Jean and Damage Control. They're the primary antagonists. And when it comes to non-villains, Frank is the primary and only team-up in the film. I mean, Yelena's kind of there, but she's just there kind of in the background. She's not joining the fights. She's providing useful information to take down Damage Control and provide information for Jean's identity using her more extensive resources. And he's also used to showcase how tightly Peter is keeping his secret that he is Peter, even among other heroes, including Bruce Banner, of course. And speaking of Bruce links perfectly with the theme of an uncontrollable transformation that needs a device to inhibit it. I mean, he's had that thing from Shang-Chi, I guess. Hulk also works as an unfortunate pawn of Jean. Very, very unfortunate. I'll get into that. Damage Control was there, but Jean was really the major antagonist for most of the film. Now, I mentioned this earlier about his body changing in ways it can't imagine or control. Spider-Puberty is how it was described in the build-up of the film. It's something that makes him worried and afraid. It's something that he wants to put in a bottle and just keep things as they are. But eventually he has to embrace it and move forward. And that could also be used to describe his current state in his life, where he's just keeping his life as Peter Parker static and isolated because he feels like it has to be. But lets go of that, realizing that he needs other people, including his old friends, and so resumes his life as Peter Parker Spider-Man. These things are not only connected in the way that he accepts the changes in his body and the need for connecting with others, but closing off from everyone also intensifies his internal developments, which has been going off for some time, at least during this period of being an extreme loner. Moving on, it is a bit of a coincidence that it was called Spider-Puberty because Jean is a mutant and they get their powers during puberty for the most part. I did mention they lacked control, and control itself is also a bit of a theme. He can't control his transformation, neither could Bruce control his transformation. Jean spent most of the movie controlling other people, and in Peter trying to control himself, he ended up coming up with a way to put her powers under control. Okay, so Sarah Gray, Jean's sister now... I did not know about this character. I'm not an X-Men person. I mean, I do like the X-Men, but I'm not deep within X-Men. And she's not really a character that's been explored much, apparently. I did have that sense where, like, is she an original character? And, well, she kind of is. Like, she does exist as a character, but that version is The version within this film is different. She's not a mutant like Jean, though apparently she was supposed to become a mutant at some point, though that plan never went to fruition. And her power would have been to activate the hidden inner powers of other mutants, which is very funny considering that the whole thing going on with Peter is his power being like unleashed here, his hidden power. That's gotta be a coincidence, right? Because they were not going in that direction with her. One thing you gotta absolutely love about this film is that they did the Hulk justice. Once you hear the loud thudding, you knew what was coming. He was unbeatable. He was even uncontrollable to an extent. You know, he started resisting Jean's control, and you can even see that was taking a toll on her for a bit. But yeah, Jean Grey ruined his life. He ruined his life. The public doesn't even know about it, which is why they had no idea why Bruce suddenly lost control. And that's just really sad. He gets wheeled off to a psych ward, super worried and frantic. Oh, did I hurt anybody? Man, Jean does a lot of messed up things in this film. Like, she also gets a guy, just a random guy, hit by a car. In general, the act of controlling another person is pretty unforgivable. Peter even says that when she was doing that with Mary Jane and using her against him, even having her kiss him, which, well, that's like, that's what is Jean Grey? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What the hell, man? This is just extremely messed up. Will she address that? You know, we'll see in the next X-Men film. I mean, surely they will have her feel a bit bad, you know, at least about what she did. Though, of course, with all that aside, her and Peter do eventually come to an understanding once they learn about the people that they lost, the people that drive them, the people that love them unconditionally. And well, on that note, who would have thought? Aunt May saves the day. Beyond the grave. Wow. What a real superhero. Help someone, help everybody. It was something that she believed in, so it was the epitaph on her gravestone, and she was 100% right. She helps Peter in a memory that Jean later accesses, which ends up helping her, leading to everyone being freed from her power, and her giving up on killing Metzger, the damage control director. It was a nice touch to have Jean DeWolff be there as Spider-Man's one friend. In the comics, she's one of the few non-superhero friends of Spider-Man, so you know, it's nice. Now, I'm not sure if other films before have done this, but it was really nice to see at the end of the credits all the credits, the names to artists and writers that had their work referenced and involved within this film. Spider Sense. They never said Spider Sense, but they did say senses, which is in reference to them being heightened to an overly sensitive and painful degree. Close enough, I guess. There is actually a precedent for his spider sense being similar to Daredevil's radar sense. The beginning of the movie where he's taking out the bad guys on the roof, it felt straight out of an Insomniac Spider-Man game. Apparently, Cretton, the director, was inspired by the game, so I wasn't crazy. Though, keeping up with the irony here, I mentioned the beginning of the movie. This is the end of the review of the movie. Yeah. A brand new day is a brand new period for Spider-Man. Hopefully it only goes up from here. Though, I guess Spider-Man will appear in Secret Wars, and I don't even want to get into Screw it. No, it just feels too desperate. It just feels too desperate. Doctor Doom just feels like, come on. He's no build-up stunt casting. Like, come on, seriously. I'm dragging this out. I'm happy. This was a great Spider-Man film. Forget Avengers. We have that to look forward to. Hopefully, X-Men and other projects. Why did I just become a bobblehead? The thing I should be shaking is not my head, but my hand. My hand. It's the end. Goodbye. Did you enjoy the film? This is not an outro. This is just shameful. This movie is a kind of movie that you watch